What up, guys? So, welcome to the Tuesday forecast, and let's get started with analyzing the market, starting with the euro and US dollar as usual. So, it's still kind of stuck in this range, but we are getting some momentum, which is a good sign. So, we can identify a range, of course, but we can also identify this nice impulse down, which looks very good. So currently I'm being more patient, as I'm always rambling about Mondays and Tuesdays are predominantly range bound days. So what I tend to do, I tend to be a bit more conservative with my entries. I tend to look for a bit higher probability price action than I would in the later part of the week. So right here what I would look for is maybe a bit more of a push and then nice flag, or maybe some sort of a break and retest trade. What concerns me about this setup is that there is a liquidity area right here and a liquidity area above. As you can see, traders on the lower time frames, they are selling the top of the range, they're buying the bottom of the range. And where do they keep their stops? Well, they keep their stops above these wicks and below these wicks and this area below. So it's really important how the price reacts in these areas. Do we just break and retrace, or do we actually break with some nice momentum? So currently this impulse is still stuck in this larger range, which is not ideal, but it's not that bad either, since we are getting some momentum. But let's be a bit more patient. Let's see what happens. Maybe we get a nice descending into the lower liquidity area. As you know, that is a high probability setup for a reversal, and in that case I would look for a nice reversal trade, or we can get a V reversal right here, look for range, look for a push up, and then look to buy. That is another possibility, of course. So yeah, my main goal here is to see the price move away from the range. Now for the euro Japanese yen, we are seeing a nice move down, and the prior price action has not been that good. So we actually had a descending structure going into an ascending, and that gives us a larger range in most cases. So let me draw it out for you. As you can see, descending into an ascending, usually it gives us a larger range, but in this case we actually are getting a nice push down, so that is a good sign. We're getting a large impulse. Let's see what happens now. So I'm looking for a flag. I'm looking for that flag, or I'm looking for that break and retest trade, or any sort of a continuation pattern, or a nice trend to start to the downside. So do be careful. If this just starts descending, then you know it is highly probable to reverse up. Or if we get a V reversal, then look for a range, look for a push up, and then look to buy on a nice continuation pattern. If we get an ascending, I would not look for a reversal in that case, because price would then just be stuck in this larger range, descending into an ascending, going into a descending, and then another ascending. So you kind of know already what I'm thinking about. I want to see this momentum continue. Otherwise, I am being more patient and waiting for a better setup. This is Aussie US dollar. This one is stuck in a range, but kind of stuck in this ascending range. It's not an ascending channel, but the whole range is kind of ascending. Now this is not highly probable to reverse for me personally. This is just showing me that the price is in no man's land, and that the price doesn't really know what it wants to do. You can see volatility right here. You can see just huge wicks, lots of wicks, and there was some okay price action at this point, but we broke and retraced, and there was no setup at this point. I mean, there actually was if you wanted to get in on a nice continuation, but for me this did not fit my plan. It was not a nice continuation, it was just a valid setup. So for me personally, we broke to the upside, but we got a large wick, so I wanted to see either a range or for it to continue up. I was not looking for any sort of a trade. After this candle, I wanted to see how the price action develops, and actually we got this aggressive retrace. So for me, no trade, and I stayed out of the market. Then we broke the low, got this momentum, but it's not that much momentum. I want to see a bit more. I want to see a large push down, then a nice flag, or maybe a large push down and then a nice break and a retest trade. Do be careful if we start to descend, then I would just be careful. I would not look for a setup since we would be stuck in this larger range. Also, we can get a V reversal, get a V range, push up, look to buy. Now, I would really like to see this move away from the current structure. This whole area is kind of no man's land. I would like for us to get a nice large impulse down and then for a nice trend to start. That would be the best possibility and probably the only case when I would look for a trade. So yeah, that's it for the Aussie and the US dollar. Now for the Aussie and the Japanese yen, there was actually an opportunity to enter on a flag. So let me take this back. As I talked about yesterday, I believe we got a really nice push up, a really large impulse, ended with a huge wick, so I was waiting for a range, a nice flat range and then a nice flag. But what actually happened, a flag did form, but it did not fit my plan. There were actually two reasons. So first one, there was not enough of a range. I wanted to see a bit wider range, a bit more candles. And the second one is that we had a momentum shift right here. So these three candles showed me that the momentum has shifted to a downside. So right here, these three, this one, and this one, they were all strong momentum candles, and I did not want to get in on this flag. After seeing that momentum shift down, what I wanted to see was a nice flat range without a momentum shift and then a nice flag to form. So this one did not fit my plan. It actually would have given you a bit of profit since you would enter on this candle. It would start going up, broke the high, retraced, and you would reduce your risk to the most recent low. So you would actually be in some profit. But yeah, for me personally, this one did not fit my plan. I did really like this push up and I really wanted to see it continue up, give us a nice uptrend, but unfortunately we did not get it. So we need to be more patient. And now we are reversing from this ascending structure. So this has formed an ascending structure right here, since we are breaking the highs and retracing, as you can see. So we broke the high, retraced, broke the high, retraced, broke the high, retraced, and are now reversing down. So that's it's a good sign. One thing to note, reversals don't really work out that good on the Aussie Japanese yen. So for a reversal, we need to be more patient with this pair. I want to see a really high probability setup. So what I'm looking for is maybe for this to get a clean close right here, so no wick, and then a nice tight flag. I would be interested in that, or maybe a nice ascending to the entry area, something like that. But the best possible scenario for me would be to get a large impulse and then a nice flag further down. And even better actually scenario would be more of a push, small pullback, and then nice break and retest trade. That would be just textbook, and it would be really high probability. Now some warning signs to watch out for this to start descending, then you know it's going to reverse. Or if we get a huge wick here or a large wick, then be very careful. I would maybe stay out of a reversal, since I really need to see some clean price action for a reversal on this particular pair. So do be careful with wicks, do be careful if we start to descend right here. Those are large warning signs. And also look if we get maybe a V reversal. Maybe it happens, not really expecting it, but it can always happen. And then you look to buy. So that's about it for this pair. Again, it's not looking that good, but it's kind of cleaning up. And we did have this ascending and we are now reversing. So let's see if this momentum down will continue so that we can look to sell. Last pair, so the pound and the US dollar. Now looks like the trading view has frozen. Yeah, so crappy trading view has frozen, but now it's looking like it's okay. So let's do the forecast for GU. And we are getting a large push down. So as I said, on this pair I'm looking for a large impulse and then a nice continuation, which would look like something like this. Small pullback and then a nice continuation, a nice break and retest trade. That is what I'm looking for in this pair. So this whole price action is no trade for me. I am really looking for that large push down. So if we do get a large push down right here, I will look for a small pullback and then a nice continuation to go to the downside. Or what we can get is we can get a V reversal, a range, push up, and then a nice flag to go up. Again, this has potential to give us that large impulse. It's definitely looking like good momentum, but let's not jump to any conclusions and let's wait for some clear evidence and for this impulse to continue down. Then I will look to sell. Currently, I'm being more patient. So that is it for the forecast. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we usually start getting some nice moves since tomorrow will be Wednesday. And today I'm being a bit more patient, a bit more conservative with my entries and just seeing how the price action develops and if the markets will start to heat up a bit more.